Magnus Pro was a game changer. It made all of your cables disappear with the world's first integrated power supply column, a cable management tray that spans the full length of your desk, and modular magnetic accessories that attach almost anywhere, allowing for nearly limitless customization. But not everyone needs the full magnetic power of the Magnus Pro. Introducing the all-new Secretlab MAGNUS Evo. It simplifies everything you love from the Magnus Pro, bringing the best parts from our flagship desk to everyone. Magnus Evo raises the bar for what a sit-to-stand desk can do at this price point. Built with the same obsessive attention to detail as Magnus Pro, with best-in-class cable management and a more streamlined experience than ever before. Like Magnus Pro, Magnus Evo has an integrated power supply column. A single concealed cable runs through your desk leg to a built-in socket at the top of the leg. So the only cable you'll ever see is the one that goes from your desk to the wall. Simply plug in your power strip and tuck it away in a magnetic drop-down tray. It opens at a 30-degree angle, just wide enough for easy access, but not so wide that your stuff falls out. Cable management is fast, simple, and deeply satisfying. And to make things even simpler, we added dedicated magnetic zones where they matter most, along the entire rear edge and on either side. So you can snap on your cable anchors, sheaths, and headphone hanger. You'll never have to think about how to organize your cables or where to put your gear. Magnus Evo brings together form and function. Its hybrid two-tone desktop combines a soft-touch, ultra-matte laminate desktop with a full-length metal rear edge that is extra durable. Exactly what you need when adding monitor arms and mounts. Need to stand and stretch? Adjust the height of the Magnus Evo down to the millimeter. 3 customizable presets let you save your preferred heights and switch between them in an instant. The desk edge is just 20 millimeters thick, but we've managed to build an LED control panel right into it, so it never gets in the way of your chair's armrests. Magnus Evo is designed to work seamlessly with our suite of modular accessories created just for our Magnus desks. From monitor arms to a desk riser and an under-desk PC mount. Take full control of your space and customize your setup the way you want. Built on the same design principles as the Magnus Pro, the Secretlab MAGNUS Evo delivers the core experience of our flagship desk at a more accessible price. I can't wait for you to get yours.
And that is the Secretlab MAGNUS Evo. We've been working on it for quite a while. I'm sitting here with our head of industrial design, Vincent, and we're gonna go through the details with you. We'll deep dive into what went into making it. But if we don't get to something that is really important to you, drop it in the comments. Our community team are on it. Otherwise, head to our website and there's way more details there to see if it fits into your environment. So check it out. So Vincent, tell us a little bit about the Magnus Evo and what was the inspiration coming from the Magnus Pro?
Well, we launched the Magnus Pro about 3 years ago. And when we developed that, we set out to develop the ultimate desk for our setups. So we identified the pain points that we had when we were setting up our offices and gaming setups at home. So some of the main things were the cable management, modularity of all the hardware that attaches to your desk. So we wanted to make the ultimate product that helped us build that. So when it came to the Evo, we wanted to take the gist of that, so all the core elements, and then put it into something a little bit more accessible for everybody. And then that's how we came up with the Magnus Evo. So like when it comes to the cable tray, we have a full-length cable tray on the Magnus Pro. And that was for all our power users like myself and a couple of our colleagues here. We change our setup quite frequently. So that was a really good solution, but not everyone needed that. I think a lot of people just set it up once and then they can just live with that for years and years. So that's what the Magnus Evo is. So we reduced the cable tray a little bit So you can still fit everything that you need, one power strip and all your charging cables and your monitor power and everything. So it's not as accessible as the Magnus Pro, but still very satisfying to use.
Yeah, it really is action-packed with all those really great features that everyone loves, but it's at a really accessible price. Yeah, and I'm really excited for people to get their hands on it. You know, something else that you'll notice about the desk is this two-tone finish. And it doesn't just look pretty, which it does, but it's also really functional. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So the Magnus Pro was a fully metal desk, as we know. So the magnets accessories could attach basically anywhere, like really just anywhere. With this desk, we realized that the average user didn't really need it absolutely everywhere. There were only 1 or 2 cables that the average user would put on top of the desk, and that would be your mouse if you're using still a wide mouse, and maybe some charging cables. And we realized that they always put it in the same spot, like along the back. So we made the metal rear bench that extends the full length of the desk, so you can put all of your magnetic cable management accessories anywhere here. And the width of it is defined by all of our other accessories that are also compatible with this rear edge. So we've got monitor arms and several variations of that, risers. All of that just extends within this area. The monitor arm clamps run perfectly up to this line here so that it's on the more robust side of the desk. But then we also had to choose the material that we wanted for the main part of the desk. We spent a lot of time choosing and developing this material, which is scratch resistant. But you'll notice it's very velvety, so we want to just keep it like nice and smooth. It feels really nice to touch.
It really does.
Yeah. It's got a special nano treatment to it, so when you slide your hands on it, it really feels silky smooth. And then that matches the metallic back very nicely.
You were talking about how it's magnetic on the metal rear edge. Could you show us a little bit about where it's magnetic?
Okay, I mean, this whole reflective area is basically steel. So all your magnetic accessories, which is what I've been just fiddling with, can just attach kind of anywhere, like the whole way. So what we generally see is that people would have their charging cables around here or their mouse cables around here. I use a wireless mouse, but I need to charge it occasionally. So I'd leave the USB-C just sitting here and it just retracts by itself. And then when I need it, I'll just pull it out, plug it in. We'll be charging like 20 minutes, and then when I'm done with it, I just leave it there. And I've also seen some other people like just leave it on the front edge like that, so it kind of pops up.
Compatibility is something that I know Secretlab really cares about. Can you maybe explain a little bit about the accessories and how they work with the Magnus Evo, and maybe some of the differences that customers can expect?
We've got like almost a dozen different accessories for the Magnus Pro. And obviously we didn't want to like launch a new desk and then have all of those be useless or redundant. What I'll say is that all the accessories are compatible with the Magnus Evo. Some are partially compatible, so I'll call those out right now. So for example, the headphone hanger on the Magnus Pro, you've got the full length of metal on the front. The headphone hanger will be compatible for the whole front. For the Evo, we've got designated areas, which I think is where most people will put the headphones anyway. So one on the left and then one on the right. For the cable anchors, obviously on the Magnus Pro is a full metal desk, so it's compatible anywhere on the desk. So it really gives the power users like full freedom to do whatever they want with their cables. Magnus Evo, we put a metal strip on the back, which is where most average users would put it for your charging cables and for your mouse cables. And then the monitor arms are obviously all compatible. The riser is compatible, but you'll have to leave a little space behind your desk. Same with the monitor arms really, because if you move around, you don't want your monitor arms hitting the wall.
I know that the MagPad isn't totally compatible with the Magnus Evo, but is there something in the works that might be?
Yes, we're working on something that hopefully we can show you soon.
Ooh, you heard it first. Insider sneak peek. So there's all these other standing desks out there. What makes this better?
So we obviously tested a bunch of different standing desks out there. The main one would definitely be cable management. The thing that made it more annoying is that your desktop moves. And so if you decide to put your PC underneath your desk or on the floor, if you put it on the top, it's fine, but you still got the power cable. Then you got a bunch of cables going up and it's like a spider's web of cables. When you go from sit to stand, that cable sometimes get caught on stuff. Worst case scenario is like you've got your PC on top of your desk and it gets caught and then your very expensive tower just like topples off the side of your desk. It happens so much, which is why like another one of the things that we spent a lot of time developing was a PC mount. We switched our legs so that the fixed one is on the top section, so we can mount the PC mount onto that. So the cables don't ever change lengths. It's always fixed. I think that was like one of our main priorities, to make not cable management just tidy, but also incredibly easy. That was like a non-negotiable for us because we hated it so much. So you notice like all of our accessories like are really based around like how to keep the cables out of the way in the easiest way possible. We've got the integrated power supply column, so you just plug the power into the desk and your desk becomes the power supply. We spent a lot of time making sure the cable management is impeccable, so you can't see any cables. We made it incredibly easy for you to set up, not just the cable management, but even the desk itself.
One of the things when purchasing a sit-to-stand desk that is really top of mind for people is the stability, specifically when it's at its tallest height. How have you thought about that while designing the Magnus Evo?
Stability is always on the top of my mind for a desk. The stability really comes down to a couple of factors. One is the leg columns, and then two is the weight of the top. One of the really difficult things for engineering is tolerance, control, and variation. This is gonna get really dry, but it's really important for this desk. The columns come in slightly different tolerances, and I'm talking in tune of 0.01 to 0.05 millimeters. When that tolerance comes into play, the worst case scenario affects the stability. So what we do is we measure every single column and we measure each of those spaces down to those hairline tolerances, and then we match them all up. That's how we ensure the stability is standardized across all of the desks. And we've improved on this over the years, like quite drastically. Some other features specific to the Magnus Evo that we spent more time than I'd like to admit, because we're just quite obsessive over this stuff, is how the tray opened. And when you look at the final result, it's very easy and satisfying to use. We do testing for reliability to make sure that the magnets that we finally ended up using feel easy enough to open and close, but is strong enough to hold however many cables that you want to put in there. So we're like confident that it'll be very reliable and sturdy.
When you're playing around with it and you are putting things in, it has this like satisfying tactile. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, and you're probably only going to use it a few times here and there, but it is satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, these things that like we won't compromise on. In the end of the day, like when we design these products and when we engineer these products, because we build everything from the ground up, a lot of the time like just we won't accept anything other than perfection. We realized that there are a lot of things that we can improve with the leg mechanism itself. So I'm not sure if people know this. We very specifically chose the type of motors that we want, together with the gear ratio that we wanted. The reason why we do that is we want the desk to move at a certain speed. We want the desk to sound a certain way, so we actually use more higher power motors than necessary, so that when the motor is working, it doesn't sound like it's struggling. It's a very nice paired together with the gear ratios that we chose provides the optimum speed. Obviously you don't want to shoot up, and you don't want to stand up and then wait another minute for your desk to go up. We do 15,000 cycles up and down. It takes us 3 weeks to finish testing for one desk. And at the end of the 3 weeks, it needs to be next to new condition before we pass it to mass production. We wanted to make sure that we built the best quality product that you can, last a lifetime. Small details like the integrated control panel, so that it's completely flush with the bottom of the desk. That's one of my favorite, most underrated features of both the Magnus Pro and the Magnus Evo, because that was a pain point when we did the research with the control panel that was just bolted onto the bottom of the desk. And it was really, really annoying to use because, especially when you got armrest and you slide around, you can hit it. It'll break either your armrest or it'll break the desk. So we managed to integrate it into the front edge so that it's like absolutely seamless. Small details like this is just whatever was on the market just wasn't good enough. We weren't okay with it, so we went out and developed our own thing.
I think what all of this really says to me is that we operate at such scale. We service so many customers and we're learning as we go. Yeah. That gives me confidence that you're really doing everything in your power to make the products, the Magnus Evo, and anything that we do the best it can be.
I appreciate that you noticed that. Yeah. But for the customers out there, like when you are commenting, we read everything. Yeah. I personally read everything.
So do I.
Sometimes it hurts my feelings, but look, it also, message received, we're always working on it. We love what we do here. We're very proud of this.
But you know what? It wouldn't be Secretlab if we didn't spend a lot of time in the details.
Yeah, it drives us crazy sometimes because sometimes we don't know what it is and it's just not good enough for some reason. So we would spend weeks just obsessing over it, losing sleep, and just like, what is that detail that would make it so much better? We apply that to like basically everything we do. If we're not like super confident with it or super happy with it, we rather just not launch it. We want to have the best products out there. So I can say like with a lot of confidence that what we've put together with these desks is the best combination of what's available on the market.
It's almost like you're thinking about the small things so that we don't have to.
Yeah, it's the little details. So if you guys are very painstaking into the details, then this is the desk for you.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the Secretlab MAGNUS Evo ticks a lot of the boxes for our everyday usage, and it's at a great price. So check it out on our website. It's available there now, and we're really excited for you to get it. If you do get it, please post a photo of your setup. We like to share a lot of our community setups on our socials, and you might be featured. Bye guys, thanks.